First one, mate. Podcast.
Yep.
How you feeling about it?
Well, I'll tell you afterwards.
So for anyone who doesn't know you, who are you today?
I'm Antony Brown, husband, father, desert ultra runner, and adventurer.
So when someone asks you what you do, what is it you actually do?
Well, I suppose what consumes most of my daily time is being a professional boxing coach. So that seems to consume almost every minute of the day in one form or another.
So with regards to the boxing, how did that version of you get built? Where did that all come from?
So I've got to give credit to my uncle for that, Scott Welch, former British champion, WBO Intercontinental champion. A lot of people know who he is and his accolades. I, like most people in fitness now, I was a very overweight kid, getting into trouble constantly because of it. Lots of fights, excluded from schools, asked to leave schools, and he picked me up. He dragged me to the boxing gym most days, and I had the weight punched out of me. Not going wasn't an option. I used to hide. I used to hide under my bed. I used to hide in my wardrobe, and he would physically grab me by my legs and bump me down the stairs and take me. There was no compromise. There was no reasons not to. It was just a given. Had to.
And where did he, taking you under his wing, where did that come from?
Well, he met my aunt when I was very, very young. I was about 11 at the time, and it's just in his nature. He's just that. It's in his nature to help people and to try and get the best out of people. It's actually a very lovely characteristic to have. I wish I had a little bit more of it. But yeah, it's something that comes naturally to him, and he's done it for all the family.
So then obviously talking about the Scott and everything like that, is that where boxing first came into your life?
Well,
or was it...
we as a family of boxers, my grandfather boxed in the Navy, my dad boxed in London, so there's always been something there, but no one's actually done it. No one had done it in front of me. No one had been there, and I'd never seen it in real life motion, only in conversations.
And so with the boxing side of stuff, what did that give you that, if you like, other bits weren't at that time?
I think what boxing does and what fighting does, it gives men and women, but mainly predominantly men, it gives them an inner belief in themselves, give them an inner confidence. It's like a shield that you can have around you.
Yeah.
It's a confidence within.
So then you were doing the boxing. I understand back in the day you were PTing.
Yeah.
So was there a transition kind of like from the boxing side as a youngster into doing your PTing as a business?
Yeah,
or?
So when I started getting my late teens, I had a short play at amateur boxing, but we'll get into that a bit later. When my uncle was training for these big events, these big fights, he had strength coaches, fitness coaches around him, physios. He had them all around him, and it seemed like a very glamorous, a very cool thing to be involved in. My aunt was having a PT at the time. My mum was having a PT at the time. They were making serious money, and then I was going down the wrong path, and my mum and my aunt saw this. They dragged me into the office in one of the businesses one day, and they gave me an ultimatum. I had to choose between three things where my life was going to go. I was going to be a plumber, electrician, or a PT. So C, straight away, PT. And I moved up to London, and my mum, my aunt paid for it all. And I studied up there with the YMCA at National Crystal Palace National Sports Centre. I studied up there for just over a year and became a personal trainer.
And how old were you been around about that time?
Early 20s.
Okay.
Early 20s.
Brilliant. So talking about that coaching, and you saw kind of like that glamorous lifestyle and everything like that, is there a bit of a difference, and this is an interesting one, between training someone and coaching someone? And if
there
there
is.
what's your take on that?
So I would say coaches are more professional, so they're dealing with more high-end athletes, or kids that want to aspire to be athletes and professionals. Training someone can be helping them get more healthy, being a psychologist, being a social worker, being a shoulder, being all of those things. Each has its part to play. It really, really does. And one shouldn't take a hierarchy over the other, because they're all very, very important. And if you're good at either one, you're doing a service to people. But I ended up going down the coaching route because we were surrounding ourselves with more professional athletes. And I never did it for the money. Money came. So I wanted to go down that route, training professional athletes. And
we've had a chat before. I understand there was a television program that you was on. Were you at that point with the professional athletes to be able to have access to things like that?
No.
And what was it?
So I went through a stint. So for 5 years, I was ITV Trisha's resident personal trainer for 5 years. Fantastic. And we did loads of different things, loads of different spin-offs on that. I worked for Sky Sports, BBC, ITV. We did lots of spin-off programmes off of that. I worked for several national magazines and tabloids, and I was on BBC Radio once a week regularly, all those sorts of things. That was when I was a trainer, when I was a personal trainer. Those things ended. That little journey ended when I was about 27, when my mum died. There was a path I went down, and I went down a different direction after that, sort of like made everything go about turn. Yep. So I stopped training civilians. I stopped being a personal trainer at that moment in my life, and then concentrating on being a professional boxing coach.
Okay. So 27, we've got some family stuff going on. Where did your mind take you at that point? Where were we? Who was Ant at that time?
Ant was a little bit off the rails. Ant got into a lot of trouble in that period of time. I've been in a lot of trouble previous to this. That's why my mum and that gave me an ultimatum. I've had a very privileged life. I had a lovely family, had a lovely home life, but I also enjoy being naughty. It's just in me. I think it's just something that's born in kids. Some kids can sort of control it, some kids can't. I think that if you've got the right tools, you can control being naughty. If you don't have the right tools, then it manifests and creates a problem for you and for everyone else around you. I've been in both stages, and I've luckily, I've sort of like come out the other end, and I think I'm okay now.
Okay. Good.
But going back to that, I was a little bit lost in that period of time, probably for about a year or two.
Yeah.
Getting into a lot of trouble, a lot of fights, a lot of violence, a lot of venting, and I came through it, and then moved away from the gyms, personal training, and then concentrated on all the professional athletes that we had around us. Started training professional fighters. My first was Marcus Eaton, who's still part of Brighton and Hove boxing team now.
Amazing. With regards, just taking it back just ever so slightly before we move on to kind of how you came out of that bad spell, is there anything you would say to anyone who's going through a little bit of trouble or finds themselves on paths that may not be suited to them, and they know they're better than that, but they're wherever they are at the moment? Is there anything you would say to anyone coming out of the other side for yourself?
No. It's really not. Everyone has to find their own path. And you can give someone all the advice in the world. People know what's good and what's bad. People know what's naughty,
yep,
what's accepted, what's not accepted. But sometimes people just want to do it. They want to vent. They want someone else to feel their pain. They want to show everyone else how much they're hurting. You can't change that. You can't change that. Only they can change that. So someone can come to you for help, and then if they go to the right people, you know, they get the right advice. But it's all up to that individual. It really is. I've always had a crutch, which has been boxing, fighting, training. So that's always been my baseline. So whenever things have got bad, whenever things have got a bit mad in my head, I've always had that baseline to go back training and get that right, and then everything else then feeds back off of that.
Okay. So it sounds like find something that you can express yourself with rather than maybe doing
Find something,
bits.
find your happy place, whatever that may be, as long as it's not self-destruction, you know, because that's what a lot of people do. They think it's their happy place, but it's not. It's just a blocker. Sport is the one. Sport is the foundation. That seems to be the answer. People tend to either music or sport. Those two things tend to bring people back down to baseline. They would be my recommendations, and just find some sort of physical activity that you can maintain on a daily basis, and that doesn't have to be balls out. It's just something to get yourself into a routine and to create that foundation again.
There you go. So we've now come out that little spell, and we're now kind of like looking after some of your professional fighters, some of which you're still with today.
Yep.
So at what moment was Scott there again for you? I mean, I'm just
always.
Yeah. So what happened at that little turning point for you to be able to then move on to be able to almost get to where you are today?
So fortunately, I might be a little bit biased here, but I'm a part of Brighton Hove boxing team, which was formerly Hove ABC, okay, which we've been established there since 1946. So we're one of the oldest in the country and one of the most successful in the country. Now, that's always been there. I took over in 99. My uncle then came on board in 2000, 2001. He was doing other things. He'd boxed as an amateur there and won every single title there is. But he went off. He was having his pro career, and then he was working in London. I was asked to come in and help out and take over. Dave Brown, who was running it at the time with his son, Sean Brown, Dave was very ill, so I came in. That place is a honeypot for talent. Mm-hmm. Okay, we are just very, very lucky and fortunate that we've had unbelievable amounts of talent walk through those doors, and then we can shape it and mould it and try and sprinkle a little bit of secret sauce on it and nurture it and make it bloom.
Who was one of your early fighters who had a bit of a success at that time?
So we had two that stand out, and I'll tell you what, people are going to kill me now. So I had two. We had one which was Lloyd Ellett. Lloyd Ellett went on to box for England, won numerous national titles, Haringey elite champion, tournament champion, went on to box for England, like I just said. And then I had another kid called Lee Garnham, who again just won a numerous amount of titles for us. And I loved Lee because he could knock people out cold. And it's very, very appealing. And it's very, it's lovely to watch.
Yeah.
There was one other kid, who most of us know as well, which is Sebastian Eubank, which is Chris's brother. I used to call him Mr. Goodnight because when he used to touch people on the chin, he used to put them out. It was a weird power that Sebastian had. He was a southpaw, and he would hit you with 3 or 4 shots, and the first one would take you out, and it'd be hitting you as you were falling to the ground, and it'd fold people through the ropes. He won loads of championships for us as well. Would I say gifted? Is that the right word to say? I don't know. But a very talented kid that used to knock people out cold as well. So, yeah.
So we've had some early success at the gym, at the boxing gym. Fast forward up to kind of, I don't know, maybe the last 5 years, where who's coming through now? Where are we at the moment?
So I'm lucky enough to be part of 2 successful camps. We've still got some kids that are coming through. One is Team Eubank. So I've been part of that team since the very start, and he was an amateur for us as well. And then Team Welch, which is my cousin, which is Tommy Welch. Tommy and Chris have just come off a couple of losses on just great nights against tremendous opponents. But that's where we are at the moment. We've got Tin and Bradley that's currently boxing for us, an undefeated professional, and our local resident here, Eunice Batty. Again, a super talented amateur. Both of them super talented amateurs, and both undefeated professionals.
Nice that you mentioned Eunice. Brings us nicely into FitLab. So Eunice is obviously a coach here and everything like that. How did you hear about FitLab? Obviously, back in the day when, obviously 5 or 6 years ago now, when you took over. Where was that journey?
So Eunice, are we talking about Eunice or FitLab?
Well, FitLab first, and then we'll talk.
Okay.
We'll mention Eunice and how it falls in.
So 2019, we were going. Me and my wife were going around different countries, looking at different gyms, thinking about starting up a boutique training studio. We wanted a small but elite level training centre, and we opened one up just over the road. We had Harlem Eubank, head of boxing and combat. I had Ollie Thompson, Britain's strongest man, doing all the strength and power work. We had ballerinas coming in, doing postural strength and other work with our fighters. We had indoor cycling studio instructors that were elite level cyclists coming in, doing all their bits and pieces. We were open for 4 or 5 months, and then we got shut down through COVID. Yeah, I'd invested everything. We'd remortgaged the house. We'd used all our savings. I'd done everything. Spent every penny we had. Me and my wife. The design was just impeccable, beautiful place. But yeah, we literally got the doors shut in our face, and we were already making profit after 5 months of opening.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, it would have been.
Yeah.
It would have been.
So COVID hit, then what happened with that? And then, if you like, how did you end up over the road?
So COVID hit, and me being a stubborn prick, this one came available. There was a group of them being shut down, and this was across the road. And I don't know why I did, but we got some money together, borrowed, begged and stole, and put it all into this place. And I can't lie, it's been hard. It's been really, really hard. But again, I am very stubborn, and I will not give in, and I will not quit. I've never quit anything in my life, nothing. And I won't quit this. And we're now doing all right, and we're winning. And yeah, it's now been a success for the good team that I've got wrapped around me.
Well, which again brings us back into now the coaching that you have going on here. So we've obviously got Eunice in here, we've got some other PTs, boxing professionals as well, working out of FitLab.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Eunice as his own entity, I suppose, to begin with. How he fits into the team, where you see his speciality is for here, and then kind of like the bigger vision of what's potentially going to be coming up next.
Yeah, so it's because I have lots of cogs to my life. We're now turning the cog on a new system up here in FitLab, Fight Lab, and Eunice came to me. Oh.
So it happens.
Yes, it does, and it's always to me. It's always the phone as well, on the watch. The phone's silent, but the watch is on. So Eunice came to me about 8 years ago. He'd seen me and Chris working out and saw me at some of the fights. I don't know how he got my name, because I'm not on I don't do interviews. I think this is the first interview that I've ever done.
Amazing.
First podcast that I've ever done, first interview I've ever done. I've never done any for boxing. I've never done any in reference to Chris. I've never done any of those things. I've always wanted to be the grey man in the background. But anyway, Yunus came to me 8 years ago, couldn't speak a word of English. He came over from Morocco. He was part of the national team. And he said he wanted to turn professional. And he wanted me to be his trainer. I said no, because although he'd achieved as an amateur in Morocco, he hadn't done anything over here. And I had a little bit of a rule at that stage in my life, and I haven't really gone past this rule, that all my professional fighters are trained as amateurs. So I hadn't taken any pros from anyone else, or any pros that are turned over from anyone else. Every pro I've had has been one of my amateur fighters. Because I need them. I need them from the start. I need to nurture them. I need to know how they think, how they work, what their needs are. I need to know everything about them. So I said to him, look, if you win some titles, I'll turn you over. So he struggled at the start because his style of boxing is like a Cuban style, which is loose hands, fast feet, counter punching. Whereas the Brits are spiteful bastards. They're aggressive.
Yep.
They're come forward. They want to kill you. So he struggled with that scrappy aggression right at the start. He'd be fighting kids that have had 50 fights, half losses, half wins, and he couldn't understand why he couldn't beat these kids, because he was winning medals for his nation, and he fought in the World Series boxing and winning, but he couldn't beat these open class boys, average kids. So it took us a year or two for him to get around that. But once he did, fucking hell, he was sensational. He was smashing everyone. And then he went on. We got silver in the Haringey Open Class Elite first time round, only because they'd mixed up the scorecards.
Right.
Yeah, they'd mixed up the scorecards. He gave the kid 2 standing outs, dropped him, and they'd mixed up the scorecards. So we got the silver in that year. He went away upset, angry, depressed. But we put it right the next year, won it outright, stopped everyone, won tournament, gold medal, and then we turned him over pro. And then, unfortunately, he's been knocking everyone out since, which is now making it really hard for him to get matched. So he's our head trainer up here, our head coach, and yeah, the kids are coming along lovely. He's bringing it on nice. We're just about to get our amateur license up here as well.
Yep.
So we're going to be launching that, and then we're going to be launching something for parents as well. So I want parents to get involved as well up here.
So launching the amateur stuff within FitLab, within its own entity as FightLab, what's that going to bring to the local area, but then also to FitLab by itself?
So I love nurturing young kids and getting the best out of them. All our best kids, and I don't know if this is other gyms or whether it's just a fluke with ours, but our most successful amateur boxers have become most successful in life, okay? All of our high-end boxers, the boxers that I just mentioned, they're just a few there, have got really successful businesses outside of here. They've got good, steady family backgrounds as well, so that always helps as well. We understand that. But just the ability to be able to compete at a high level and fighting under that extreme pressure gives them a separate sort of tools to be able to deal with things outside of here. And that's what I want to do. Worthing, Brighton and London have been the only places I've ever lived in my life. And Worthing's, I've got a soft spot for Worthing, and I think there's a lot of naughty kids in Worthing that need some nurturing. They need some more tools. And that's all it is. They just need some more tools. And I think we're the place for it.
Mm-hmm. And then looking at FitLab as a bit more of an entirety, where are you at the moment with it? What's going on? And then I understand there's a few cogs in motion to get some bigger things going on. Is there anything you want to expand on with that?
So the dream with FitLab is to be a one-stop shop, okay? I want people to spend hours here. We're just about to open up a new fuel lab downstairs, which is going to be food, which is going to be all high-end level healthy food and coffees. We're going to be changing things slightly with the CrossFit and the boxing downstairs. We're going to put a few new toys and tools downstairs to make things, a little bit more exciting. But the biggest changes we're going to do is to FitLab up here. They're the biggest changes. And we're going to create a whole new community just in this one section as well. So we're going to have the gym downstairs where everyone's just coming and training and making a better version of them. We've got CrossFit out the back where people are doing HYROX and they're doing CrossFit, which is, quite extreme, but we are making a few softening touches to that as well. And then we're going to have where my heart is and where I can give most of my attention, which is going to be FitLab. And I want to get the parents involved with the kids as well. Mm-hmm. All right, so it's going to be both.
Any plans for any kind of wellness or recovery?
There are. That's going to be back in boutique across the road. Okay, so we're going to turn that into a longevity lab. Okay, where we're going to have Pilates, reformers, steam, saunas, oxygen, cold plunge. We're going to have the works and that all over there.
Amazing.
Right, that's a bit of an exclusive. So, yeah.
And then is there anyone coming on board to help with any of this? Is there any people in the pipeline?
Yeah, there is. So we've got a team of coaches that are going to be coming in for the boxing. And then I've got a team of wellness experts that are going to be coming in across the road. Okay, we'll leave it at that. We won't give away too much just yet. But they're going to be taking the lead across there. We've got a new manager, CEO, that's going to be taking over Fuel Lab downstairs. We've got a young line that's going to be coming on board. And everything's going to be geared up for March the 28th, which is going to be our launch date.
Anyone coming in for March the 28th? Any sponsors? Anyone?
Yeah, so Drip's going to be one of the partners with us, and Gym Pro, which are a clothing range, which is also part of Chris's range. Chris and the whole team. I'm very rarely out of it, but I thought I'd make a little bit of an effort today. They're going to be coming on the 28th. They're going to be doing an open day. They're going to be here probably for the weekend. Everyone's going to be trying out their gear, training in their gear, testing out their gear. The stuff is another level. And I'm a bit of a gear freak. Like most of us, we all like training gear. All of us do. I'm in a position where I can actually buy most of it and try it all out. So, it's a very, very high-end product that's, middle of the road sort of money. And I've tried out everything. So I am an expert.
And then obviously Drip Water, are they having any play in the amateur stuff at all? Or?
Yeah, so Drip are going to come on board with us with the amateurs. They want to help the youths. They've got a big movement where they're helping young athletes and pushing athletes forwards. Yeah, I've got a good friend, Luke Davis, is going to be coming on board and helping with that and helping us push it all forwards.
You mentioned March the 28th, open day for FitLab.
Yes.
So we've got a bit of a launch, lots of new things happening.
Yeah.
But before that, for Antony Brown, what's happening for you?
Yeah, so I've got an expedition lined up for the 6th to the 14th, but I've actually, it's about 4 marathons. It's about, between 100 and 150 K. Cross-country skiing with full kit. It's unsupported, so you've got to take all your own gear. You've got to tow a big puck, as they're called. I'm doing that on the 6th to the 14th. But because I'm the greenest one of the bunch, I've got to go out 2 days early and learn how to cross-country ski. So, yeah, so I'm gearing up for that. So that's what I've been training for the last 6 months, yeah.
And what inspired you to even pack up and go over and do something like that?
Ego and vanity. More stories.
He's honest. He's honest.
Yeah, more stories. And that's what it's about, isn't it? You know, all these things. Yeah, you could say they're for your own well-being and your health and all the rest of it, but they're just more stories that you can show off with.
Yep.
You know, that's what I want to do. I want to prove to myself that I can still do it. Deep down, I think I know that I can. But then there are more stories to tell.
Okay, and we're going to have plenty of those. There's still a backstory. We haven't even touched it with your previous expeditions and all of that kind of stuff. Is there anything, in summary, how many do you think you've done? How many?
Well, I had a big break, but I've done probably about 8 expeditions in total so far. Well, this will be my 8th. So this will be leading on to an even bigger one that I want to do either the end of the year or the beginning of next. So the big goal here is to do Coast to Pole, which is a couple of months expedition, travelling from the coast of Antarctica to the South Pole. So that's the plan.
And this is a warm-up.
This is to see if there's one more round left in me. All right? Yeah, see if there's one more round.
And for anyone listening, any words of inspiration for them to come and have a look at what FitLab's about at the moment before we start really ramping stuff up here?
Just get yourself down there. Get yourself down and see what we're doing. See who we are. Come and meet the team. Come and meet us. And come and get involved. We've got a lot of things that are going to be changing over the next few months. Got a lot more clubs, a lot more activities, a lot more classes being taken forwards. I'm going to be pushing things forwards now with the FitLab, with the boxing. I want to create a whole new ecosystem up here when it comes to the FitLab, Fight Club, boxing, and we've got a lot of really exciting things coming on.
Amazing. And thanks for your time.
Welcome. Pleasure.
Episode 1 done.
That was easy.